Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a genuinely massive, paradigm-shifting update. Seriously, this changes everything about how we interact with data. We are diving into the Gemini 3.5 update for Google's NotebookLM. It's essentially transformed from a passive reading assistant right into an active, code-executing compute engine. If you rely on AI for serious research or data synthesis, having a literal computer right there inside your chat window, yeah, it fundamentally changes the game.
So here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the baseline of grounded trust, dig into this new secure cloud computer, look at generating actionable data, talk about auditing the AI's logic, and wrap up with hybrid AI workflows.
Let's kick things off with Part 1, the baseline of grounded trust.
Before we get into all the wild technical upgrades, we absolutely have to talk about trust. Tech journalist Mahanur Faisal really hit the nail on the head here. She pointed out that, for a long time, AI just felt like a slightly faster way to do things you already knew how to do. The actual breakthrough wasn't just getting a smarter generic chatbot. It was mandating that the AI start strictly with the documents you provide, before it even thinks about reaching for outside information.
And that perfectly captures the concept of source-grounded AI. Unlike standard tools that scrape the open web and, occasionally hallucinate or just make things up, a grounded system only works with the files you upload. It is a closed-loop system where you control the inputs and every single output is anchored directly in your material, complete with citations. That trustworthy foundation is exactly what NotebookLM was built on, and it's super important to keep that in mind as we explore what it can do now.
All right, moving right along to Section 2, Secure Cloud Computer and Google Antigravity.
So what actually happens when you give that trustworthy, grounded foundation its own brain? The Gemini 3.5 update represents a massive architectural shift. The old NotebookLM was basically just a passive reader. It analyzed your text and spit out summaries using pretty rigid templates. But now the system can actively write and execute its own code right there in the chat. It is completely graduated from just explaining your files to actively working on them.
This whole active capability is powered by a new infrastructure called Google Antigravity. Basically, every single one of your notebooks now ships with its very own sandboxed, secure cloud computer. You're not just chatting back and forth with a language model anymore. You are actively commanding an isolated computing environment that can run scripts, analyze raw data, and build structural outputs, all based entirely on your trusted sources.
Which brings us to Section 3, generating actionable data outputs.
Okay, so what does having this secure cloud computer actually mean for your day-to-day workflow? Well, instead of just dumping a block of text into your chat window, the AI now follows this really dynamic four-step process. First, it plans out the output based on exactly what you asked for. Second, it literally writes the code needed to build it. Third, it runs that code securely inside its sandbox. And finally, it delivers a finished, polished file directly to you.
The big takeaway here is that you can now instantly generate complex functional deliverables. We're talking data visualizations, PDFs, Excel sheets, PowerPoints, and even perfectly formatted CSV and JSON files, all directly from your prompt. That old limitation where NotebookLM couldn't produce polished, editable files, yeah, that is officially a thing of the past.
Just imagine feeding in hundreds of pages of messy, unstructured text documents. The compute engine can just write a Python script, execute it, and instantly spit out a clean, beautifully structured JSON dataset. Or, say you drop in a bunch of unorganized data points. The engine can run graphing code and hand you back a visual chart. You are quite literally turning unstructured knowledge into structured, actionable data in a matter of seconds. It's incredible.
Let's look at Section 4, auditing logic with visible reasoning.
Now, all of this compute power is totally useless if you can't verify the results, right? Whenever an AI performs some complex cross-synthesis across your documents, the very first question any professional is going to ask is, wait, how did it actually get to this specific conclusion? For a long time, even when you had citations, you kind of just had to take the AI's logic completely on faith.
Well, we are officially done with black boxes. One of the absolute coolest benefits of the Gemini 3.5 update is that you can follow its reasoning directly. You just expand the reasoning interface, and you can literally watch the AI work its way through a complex task step by step in real time. No more waiting around blindly for it to just drop a finished answer on your screen.
The practical application for this is huge. If you're deep into heavy research and you don't quite agree with the conclusion the AI gave you, you can now trace its exact steps. It makes it so easy to spot precisely where the logic derailed, which ensures you stay in total control of the facts. Now, to be fair, with Gemini 3.5 under the hood, the system is noticeably sharper at reasoning through dense material anyway, but having this audit trail, that is the ultimate safety net.
Finally, let's wrap up with Section 5, building a hybrid AI workflow. So, even with all these massive computational upgrades, modern professional workflows usually require a bit of a nuanced, hybrid approach. Because, as our source material points out, there is a good reason you might not want to put all your eggs in one basket. NotebookLM is totally unmatched for source-grounded active code execution, but it does operate on a single conversational thread. Claude Projects, on the other hand, also gives you that source grounding, but it lets you spin up separate parallel conversation threads. Plus, and this is key, it can reach out to the open web mid-answer if a question genuinely needs outside context. So how do you get the best of both worlds? The most efficient setup actually uses both systems interchangeably. You lean on NotebookLM to generate your hard data outputs and execute code, and you switch over to Claude Projects when you need to splinter your research into parallel threads. And the brilliant part is, you can bridge the gap between them using community-built MCP, or Model Context Protocol servers. Think of these servers as the digital wiring that lets both tools talk to each other. That way you can move fluidly between them without having to rebuild your entire source base from scratch every single time. We've covered a massive evolution today. We have moved from simple, passive chatbots all the way to source-grounded, code-executing cloud computers that actually show their work. As you look at your own projects and your own research, I really want to leave you with this. Now that you have a secure cloud computer at your fingertips, one that can instantly turn messy documents into structured datasets and executable files, how are you going to redesign your own workflow to maximize it? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.